Hello and welcome to today's town tutorial. This will be my first video and I'm doing this completely without a script, so please bear with me if I make any errors. This video will show you how to play the game, how to wire simple things such as doors and buttons, and how in some general commands. Let's start with how to spawn a gun. To spawn a gun, you can type the command spawn. You can type the command spawn with the exclamation mark and then a spawn, or you can do an abbreviation, which is just exclamation mark s. To spawn a gun, you need to put the name of the weapon after your command. So if you want to spawn, let's say, M4 carbine, you would put spawn M4, and now you will have an M4 carbine. If you want to spawn an accessory, it is the same thing. You can type, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to do an abbreviation. You can type S. If you want night vision goggles, you may type NV. Now you have night vision goggles. To wear the night vision goggles, it will not appear on your hotbar. As you can see here, we have a hotbar. If you spawn any guns at all, it will appear on your hotbar, but not accessories. If you want to get the accessory and put it on you, you have to press the button above the tab key. Usually a key next to one as well. You press that, you click on the button. In this case, it's the night vision goggles, and you click on it. Now it's night. It will use as a night vision goggles. There is a need to wear this, especially at night, when you can see absolutely nothing. These night vision goggles do make a difference. Now, for medkits, you can do an abbreviation. Instead of typing medkit, you can type med. As long as most of it makes sense to the game, it will spawn it. Same thing, but except with medkit, you can either do it the way like I did, clicking above the tab to spawn the medkit, or you can find it in your hotbar. For further information about the weapons you can spawn, you can type CMDS to see all the attachments. And this, I'm currently in a private server, so this one is most of these commands are in the private server command. For tools, you can have all of these tools. Assuming you're a new player, you can have all of these guns that are not game passes, and you can have all of these attachments that are not game passes. However, game passes do require you to actually pay for them, and with game passes you can spawn these weapons. Armors are as following. The current armors include this much as the date I'm recording, and there is a game pass called Rusky that costs $1,000, but the head armor on this particular armor is the best, giving you 100 armor, which could in theory withstand several shots from low caliber firearm or one shot from high caliber firearm. To spawn armor, you can type this command, armor name. So in this case, I'm going to type FBI, and there you can spawn the armor. And same with the abbreviations, you can type an abbreviation, which is SA, and say you want to spawn Prussia, you can now have a Prussian uniform. Now moving on to the next stage, we have some commands. Most of these commands are basically trivial, except one, which is passive. In this mode, you are able to walk freely without anyone being able to harm you in any capacity. Unless of course you get trapped into the void, which that is a certain death. Bullets, when shot at you, will travel through, so you cannot act as a shield, and you cannot interact with things either. Some other commands include TMT to put gore, well, not technically gore, just make the game a bit more bloody. So basically all it does is just add some blood decals. If I shoot him, you can see there's some splashing of blood, and if that happens, there will be some blood decals that do spawn that do not have usually when you're not playing the game without the mature mode, which is TMT. Another command is BC, body cam. This makes your profile, this makes your POV a body cam. So if you've seen one of the, there will be body cam footage of a police officer. This is technically designed to mirror that. Moving on, we have plots. Normally, plots in the 3 most prominent plot locations will be here and here, and also here. These 3 are where you will essentially get the most activity if you are making a plot by your own. If not, you can decide to choose between this one and this one, although I've seen more players in this part of the plot. For today, oh my god, I'm stupid. For today, I will show you the basics of building a plot. First, you must wait 60 seconds before you can spawn a plot. This is to prevent people from, just doing plots and like blocking other players and not to have an advantage, especially when you've just joined. And it's also to prevent like exploiters in specific, from making mass plots, and usually in 60 seconds they will just get bored. At least that's what I think. So for plots, you cannot make a plot that is blocking the entrance, the vehicle entrances. So for example, this one, a vehicle could spawn here, so you cannot, if you were to spawn a plot here, what you build cannot block this entrance, which means this car needs to come out, and I think so does that one. And here is another vehicle spawn, this one, it's in the gas station, again you cannot block this spawn. Here are the 4 spawn locations, so you have one there, one here, and one here. So as you can see, I cannot make a plot too close to another plot or on spawn, which in this case is over here. As you can see, the 4 spawn locations are there, and here, and you cannot spawn a plot here, or there. As you can see, even with me being in private server, as you can see, too close to a spawn or another plot not created. And this also works if you are next to somebody else's plot, and you cannot spawn a plot like that as well. If you want to spawn a plot, just type PC. It used to be CP, but however, due to CP being an abbreviation for something else, it has been changed. To make something, you need to first join the group and be verified before you can even create the plot. Then, with building tools, you can actually build stuff. Making a door is relatively simple. First of all, you have to design your door. So this will be my door design for today. Here is just a simple door. It's a plain door for the sake of timing. Normally you do not have to click these buttons if you want to change something. For example, there's the Z and the X over here. The reason I'm doing it is because B tools have been broken for me lately, so this is all we'll get. So if you want to make this door go from here to up there, like where this place is, which means that this door will come to a stop here. horizontal to the bottom of this block, or whatever you decide to make your transistor made out. So now you go to texture, put in either -500 or 500. So this one is which type of transistor it is. In this case, you want the block or door to move from this one. So this is the starting position. This is 1. And the other one relates to how fast you want it to move. This is in seconds. If I want it to move in 2 seconds, I'll put 2 seconds. But just say I want this to be moving from this position to this position in 1 second. I'll go ahead and put 1. This for the other button, it's practically the same, except this one will be a type 2 because this is the second position you want your door to go to. And you will also need to put a 1 here to match the speed. Or if not, if you put a different value over here, assuming you put 1 second here, the door will open up to position 2 in 1 second. However, if you put 2 seconds here, when the door is going back down, it will go at a rate of 2 seconds. And of course, you need to put transparency as 500. The image ID will function as a noise for the door. Once you put an image ID, for example, on type 1, it will play once once your transistor 1 and the door is going to transistor 2. If you put 1 here, it will vice versa. It will happen when it's going down. Now we need to group these in order for this to actually function. Shift G to group, and in the chat type the command WC. WC. If you cannot chat for whatever reason, there should be a button usually next to L. However, it does vary on your keyboard. As for I have a Spanish keyboard, so the button for me is the NE button. There you can wire a command, and as you can see, if I press this, it will go up at a rate of 1 second, and it will come down at a rate of 1 second. However, if you want to make a door that does not just go up and down, and you want it to act like a normal door, swing from left to right, you can create a swing door sign. So first, what you'll do is you will have the same door, copy a part with Shift C or this button over here, resize it. I'm going to use both over here for the sake of speed, and you can design your, or not design, or you can make your part. So if you want a swing door, it should look like this shape, which is, if you couldn't tell, a cross. With the textures, press G to interact with textures, and seems like my V-tools is working again for whatever reason. Or you can press G. So so since the door is facing this way, you want the cross to be facing whatever the door is facing, whatever way, whatever way you want your door to face in the beginning of the plot. So this will be transistor 1, and the speed once again relates to how fast you want the door to open. In this case, I want it to open a little bit slower, so I'll put 3. And transparency, you have to set it to 500 or -500 depending on your taste. Image ID, once again, is what you want to put if you want to add a noise to the door. However, I will not put it, as I do not want a noise to my door. Here, you need to put, since this is position 1, this needs to be position 2. And now you can put, say you want this to go faster, you want it to close faster, you put 1 second there, and the transparency is always -400. Bring this, take it closer to the door. Of course, this step is probably necessarily. I don't know exactly how this exactly works. Group them together, wire the command. And oh my god, so I had a little bit of a problem over there. What I did was I copied, and this should be a lesson too, right? I copied this one, like this individual door, with Shift T, so I can interact with things that are in a group, which otherwise I wouldn't. And I took this one, which was still interactable, and I bring it here. So that was why the thing was not working. But however, this should work now, I believe so. And yes, this works now. So this door opens, and this door closes slowly, very slowly, actually, agonizingly slow. The next one is a button activated door. I will make my button as a cylindrical shape. However, you can make your button however, whatever design you'd like. This is just my preparation. Of course, if you feel like I'm not explaining this very well, Halo, another YouTuber, has made a design, well, not necessarily a design, a tutorial that if you do not understand mine, you should look at his. I will have a link of his in the description. So here you have a simple button. Currently it does not do anything. However, to make this pushable, so you can actually like send a signal, this is a type 3. So, and this one, it's just so that we can make it so we can press it. This one will be type 1, and the speed, I usually set it to lowest as possible so I can actually hear it. And for this one, I will add an audio. If you put the audio in the image ID and you put enter. And for the second one, if you want that to have an audio as well, you must put it too. So as again, transparency will always be set to -500, and your sound is going to be put at image ID. Now, for the important part of what makes a button, actually a button, we go ahead and copy whichever one you want. It doesn't matter, and change this value to 3. And the color of this is actually important because because how signals work in town is that this signal will not work if the color is incorrect. So if this is white and another receiver is another color, this will not connect. However, if it is the same button, it will. And in this case, this is a type 3, which is a signal sender. It will send a signal telling the store if I open or should I close it, or whichever variable it is. Now, I disable the collision by pressing K or clicking this, and setting the transparency on the material tool and press N to 1, so you cannot see them and you cannot interact with them. But I will group them with this button, and now you have a button. Now you might say, what does a button do me if I do not have a door? And to that I answer, nothing. Well, unless you want like a stress clicker or close. But let's go ahead and make the button, or actually the door, I'm sorry. This will be quite a big door if any of y'all want to make gates and that kind of stuff. So here, continue as usual. Oh, oops. And make the buttons as I have told you before. So this one is the first, this is the type 1. It's where the gate starts. and assume you want it to travel at 3 seconds from position 1 to position 2. Consider the transparency for negative 500 or 500. And for this one, I will also put an audio, which is an SCP blast door. It is also important to change this value. Oh wait, no, sorry. Now we will have the second one, so the second position, and you will put the repeat in the first repeat to number 2, because this is the one you want the place to go to. And also quick trivia: if you want to change the material of this thing, you can go ahead and press N and change it to whatever material you have here. For me, I will put what should I put? I'll put diamond plate. And now for the important part, you make this connected to a type 4 receiver, which here you should just put 4. Nothing else really matters for this thing. It's not going to change any of this thing except for the receiver, which now you can't click this, you can't interact with it, you can't press E on the door itself to open, you have to click a button. So now set this to whatever color you have the third receiver as. So in my case, institutional white. Now wire all of this together. And also you can shift T to interact with things that are in a group, which normally you wouldn't. And for me, I usually do this so I can set this to 1 transparency and turn off the collision, so so you can make it blend in with your building. Anyways, what I just did doesn't really matter. You don't have to do that. Anyways, if I press this button, this door will open, and if I click it again, this door will close. This you can probably add like this to your control room or whatever you want. And yeah, one thing I neglected to mention was how to put attachments on a weapon. Assume I have an HK416. This is a glorious weapon. You can see the stats over here. But anyways, press V to open the modifications tablets. So this one is this is the baseline. It's a 556 Heckler & Koch HK416. And this one has the most options. You can have a barrel, you can have a range, a laser, a flashlight, you can have a grip, and you can have a sight. You can find the grips and the sights at commands, but for me, my usual setup is a muzzle brake. I will use abbreviations for the sake of video. And an ergo grip, NGALs, NGAL laser, and finally a coyote sight. Now press V to assemble all these parts together. Now you will have a fully assembled weapon that will boost your performance because the grip decreases the recoil, so does the muzzle brake, and the NGL makes it easier for you to shoot while not having ADS. If you want to spawn with a weapon, in the chat type STS weapons. So if you want to spawn with a HK, you go ahead and type HK. It's not limited to just one thing. If you want to spawn different items, you can type HK MED, which is medkit, AG, which is a pistol, Olympia, which is a shotgun, and all sorts of different things. And assume you want to put attachments on something you spawn with. So with Olympia over here, I will type plus ergo plus range and plus coyote. Now you will spawn with the weapon. Like when you die, you will respawn with the weapon with these sights, or if you choose not to have any, you will spawn with the base weapons. As you can see, I just spawned, and I have, for HK16, I have no sights as ordered. Same with the little gun, the Glock 19, they renamed it. But with the Olympia, I will have the attachments I have ordered when I was typing. Of course, there will be many things that you will have to explore on your own to play Town. But however, this is the quick tutorial of Town. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section or DM me on Discord. I live in Europe, so try not to wake me up that much. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.